On the news, Nigerian police confirmed 33 odds burnt in Adamawa community clash. The Nigerian Senate orders probe into Ponzi schemes, demands public hearing over crypto bullion exchange scandal. And the Lagos State Police restricts movement on July 12 for local government elections, exempt essential workers and accredited officials. It's a pleasure to have you join News Now on TV 360 Nigeria. I am Victoria Konde. The Adamawa State Command of the Nigerian Police have confirmed that 33 huts were burnt after a communal clash in Lamurde local government area. The Chobo and Bachama people in the local government had been involved in a brawl over long disputed land. It has now been elevated into a large-scale destruction that has prompted heavy deployment of the police personnel to restore order. The police said in a statement obtained on Wednesday that all was calm in the area except for the scars of destruction, added that more mobile police personnel from Operation Farauta and Counter-Terrorism Unit have been deployed to the area. And the United States has announced that non-immigrant and non-diplomatic visas issued to Nigerian citizens will now be limited to a single entry with validity of 3 months. According to a statement from the U.S. mission in Nigeria, the decision is in line with a reciprocal visa policy introduced under President Donald Trump's first term and affects several countries, including Nigeria. The mission clarified that all U.S. non-immigrant visas issued before July 8, 2025 would remain valid. It also emphasized the importance of Nigeria-U.S. relations and urged Nigerian travelers to comply with visa terms and ensure their documents are authentic and up-to-date. In a similar development, the United Arab Emirates has imposed stringent new entry restrictions on Nigerian travelers, tightening access to one of the most popular destinations for business and leisure in the Middle East. Multiple travel agents have confirmed that under fresh directives from Dubai immigration authorities, Nigerians aged between 18 and 45 are no longer eligible for tourist visas unless accompanied by family or in groups. The new guidelines also introduce steep financial requirements for older travelers. Nigerians aged 45 and above must now submit a personal bank statement covering the past 6 months, with each month showing a minimum ending balance of $10,000 or its Naira equivalent before they can be considered for a tourist visa. Former Governor of Kano State, Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, has been appointed the chairman of the Board of Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, FAAN. This comes only a few days after Ganduje resigned as the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC. The announcement was made during the formal inauguration of newly appointed FAAN board members in Abuja. Ganduje resigned from the ruling party's exalted position last week, citing urgent and personal matters. Onto other stories. The Nigerian government has commended the Northeast Development Commission, NEDC, for its vital role in post-insurgency recovery and rebuilding across the region. The Minister of Regional Development, Abubakar Momo, gave the commendation during a visit to Borno State, where he inspected projects in Jeremafa and Maiduguri. He noted that the region, after over a decade of insurgency, is gradually being transformed by the NEDC's strategic interventions. TV 360's correspondent Solomon Josiah completes the report.
The visit aims to assess progress on recovery projects, strengthen collaboration with state authorities, and align federal efforts with community needs. The minister inspected key NEDC projects, including 1,000 housing units, roads, and initiatives in education, healthcare, and skills training. He praised the NEDC's works as a model for post-conflict recovery and urged Nigerians to invest in Borno, assuring the state is now safe and open for business.
The joy in the faces of the locals make me feel very happy, because for the very first time, they are seeing roads. These are not just roads destroyed by the activities of insurgents. These are fresh roads being constructed with a view to making life meaningful for the people of that area. From what we have seen there, this road passed through major economic hub of Borno, Maiduguri, that is Jijereboy, where you have a lot of farming activities taking place. And with the network of roads connecting the various villages in a loop form, you agree with me that the agricultural activities of that place will further be increased, because access roads are there now to carry out whatever they have cultivated to neighboring markets and the rest of them.
During a caustic call on Governor Babagana Zulum, who was represented by his deputy, the minister reaffirmed the federal government's commitments to Borno State's development and highlighted the ministry's role in ensuring NEDC interventions are timely, effective, and responsive to local needs.
The activities of the Northeast Development Commission, which is one of the establishments under the supervision of the ministry. You know that far back to 2017, this commission was created, and we are fully aware that a number of activities have been going on within the Northeast Development Commission. And having gotten the mandate to supervise the commission along with others, we felt it is very appropriate, after about 6 or 7 months now, into assumption of office in the ministry, to pay a working visit to also see for ourselves what the Northeast Development Commission has been doing, and if there are challenges, we also be able to help them, attend to them.
In response, the deputy governor acknowledged the federal government's support through the NEDC, noting its impact on infrastructure, healthcare, and economic recovery. He also highlighted the Lake Chad dredging as a boost to Borno State's trade and investment potential.
The Northeast Development Commission has supported the state government in providing security vehicles to security agencies in the state, and it has helped in a lot of ways by combating criminal activities, especially in the metropolis and on our highways.
The minister emphasized that the visit was not merely for inspection, but to ensure that the Northeast Development Commission remains aligned with its core mandate. He reaffirmed the ministry's commitment to supporting Northeast's rebuilding efforts, stressing that government initiatives must meet communities' needs and deliver lasting impact. Solomon Josiah, TV360, Borno.
Now let's go back to the story on the United States and the United Arab Emirates imposing new visa policies on Nigeria. Now joining us to discuss this further is a senior lecturer at the Department of History and International Studies, Lagos State University, Remy Brito. Thank you very much for joining us on the news, sir. Now, the U.S. mission describes the new visa policy on Nigerians as a reciprocal measure, noting that U.S. citizens face more restrictive conditions when applying for Nigerian visas. Given this tit-for-tat visa policy, is it likely to have any impact on future diplomatic relations and economic exchanges between Nigeria and the U.S.?
Oh, yes, definitely yes. It will definitely have a serious impact on the relationship, economic relationship, political relationship between Nigeria and the USA. But first and foremost, I do not believe that it's a retaliation from the USA. Given that Nigeria has not done anything to restrict Americans in coming to Nigeria. But I want to believe that USA has simply done this in order to provoke Nigeria. Probably because Nigeria recently joined the BRICS meeting in Brazil. And as a result, the USA is beginning to see Nigeria as a state not acting in consonance with what their ideals and their beliefs. But for one thing, the US President what's his name now? Trump, you know, he is behaving as if he is the police of the world, and he owns every part of the world. And anybody that has not danced to his tune will be done. In international relations, that's what you call the madman's theory. And that is what is displaying right now, the madman's theory. For one thing, you will realize that he's not only doing this to Nigeria, but he's done that to China, he's done that to Canada, he's done that to Iran, and a lot of other countries. He even did that, even in America. He sent the National Guard and the American Marines to California, because he said that non-registered immigrants are to leave the United States, given the fact that many of them have stayed in the United States for so many years and all of that. So President Trump is displaying the madman's theory, as we have it in international relations. When he did it to China, he started with the raising of tariff from 35% to 150%, and China did just what they ought to have done. They retaliated, and he retreated from that. The same thing to Canada. Canada has been one of the closest allies to USA, and recently the Canadian Prime Minister told him that Canada was not for sale, and all of that. So you can see that from this perspective, that President Trump has displayed a very hard posture against African states. More so, Nigeria is an actor, not just an actor in international relations. Nigeria remains a factor. Nigeria remains the most popular black nation in the world. Nigeria is not supposed to be treated like that. That's what I can say.
All right, thank you very much for that. Now, the UAE has also tightened its visa regime for Nigerians, restricting younger travelers to group or family entry and requiring older applicants to meet a $10,000 a month balance, according to them, aiming to raise travel quality and curb security risks. What do these restrictions mean for Nigeria's image on the global front?
Well, Nigeria's image, to be honest, is on a downturn, because a lot of young Nigerians have traveled out of Nigeria, especially to the UAE, to behave, in a way that the image of the country has been tarnished entirely. And that is why, for you as a young traveler to be able to travel out of the country, you must have a balance of gender. Well, for me, that is a welcome development, because a lot of young Nigerians are out there soiling the image of the country outside Nigeria, especially in the UAE, not only in the UAE, even in Europe, in the Americas, in Canada, in the US, and elsewhere. A lot of young Nigerians are soiling the image of Nigerians. Very few Nigerians are going out there to study and to be involved in meaningful activities. But indeed, it's a sorry case. I weep for the country, but I don't know what will happen next. But for me, I think it's deserving that Nigeria is being treated this way, because our youth, and I feel strongly that the federal government needs to do something about our youth going out there to other countries, soiling the image of the country. And for me, it's a very bad thing. It's a very bad, thing happening to the country. Okay. Given the nature of the economy of the country, a lot of youth are traveling out of the country due to what the economy of the country, the bad image the economy has caused the country. But I think strongly that the Nigerian government has a role to play in this direction.
All right, sir.
In order to raise the image and to provide, jobs for our young graduates who, of course, after passing out of school, would not be left with any other choice but to travel out of the country. Nigeria should remain in Nigeria, and all of us should put our hands together in helping to develop the country.
Apologies to cut you short, sir. Well, we'll watch as events unfold. Senior lecturer Dr. Remy Brito, thank you very much for sharing your insights on the news with us. Thank you. Now, moving on to other stories, Chief of Staff to the President and former Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila has blamed negative public perception of lawmakers on the weakness of Nigeria's local government system. Speaking at the National Assembly Open Week 2025, it called for reforms that would guarantee full financial and administrative autonomy at the grassroots level. Also speaking at the event, the former Speaker Yakubu Dogara emphasized the need for greater accountability within the legislature to rebuild public trust.
A democratic legislature exists to unite the people with the government by empowering a sovereign parliament to enact laws for the good governance of the nation, to oversee the nation's finances, and to provide an arena for public participation in the policy development process. Consequently, everything that we do in the legislature is about maintaining the connection to the people on whose behalf we serve. When legislators debate a bill or motion in the chambers, we do so not as individuals expressing an opinion, but as representatives ensuring that the voices of our constituents are heard in the national arena and that their concerns and interests are factored into the legislative process.
And one of the work of Parliament is to hold others to account, especially the executive. But by throwing your doors open, you are saying, we want to be accountable. We want to account first, hold us to account before we hold other arms of government to account. I believe it is only leaders or the leadership that is committed to integrity that will do this.
While we celebrate the 26 years of uninterrupted democracy in Nigeria, the numbers continue to remind us of a gap that still exists. Out of the 469 members of the National Assembly, only 21 are women. That is 4 in the Senate and 17 in the House of Representatives. At the state level, just 48 out of 991 state legislators are women. In several states, women's voices are entirely absent in legislative decision-making. This is not a reflection of capacity or competence, but of persistent structural and systematic barriers. It is in recognition of these challenges that Nigerian women across political parties, civic and professional spheres have come together to advocate for a passage of the Reserved Seat Bill for women.
Police authorities in Lagos State have announced a restriction of movement on Saturday, July 12, due to the local government elections. In a statement issued on Wednesday, the Lagos Police Command said the restriction would take effect from 3 a.m. to 3 p.m. and would apply to all roads and waterways across the state. The police explained that only essential workers on medical emergencies, emergency responders, accredited officials, observers, and journalists on election duty would be exempted. It added that all exempted individuals must wear their LASIEC-issued identification tags throughout the period of the election. It's time for a quick break. When news now returns, Kenya's President William Ruto once again bid to overthrow government by protests. Stay with us for details. Welcome back. Now let's take you through our main stories. The Adamawa State Command of the Nigerian Police has confirmed that 33 huts were burnt after a communal clash in the Lamurde local government area. The police said in a statement obtained on Wednesday that all was now calm in the area except for the scars of destruction. We also told you that police authorities in Lagos State have announced a restriction of movement on Saturday, July 12, due to the local government elections. In a statement issued on Wednesday, the Lagos Police Command said the restriction would take effect from 3 a.m. to 3 p.m. and would apply to all roads and waterways across the state. Now, in case you missed any of our news bulletins or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and AVO TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on X, Instagram and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery and Apple Store. On Facebook, we are at TV360 Online. It's now time for business news. Joy Uchejim is on standby. What's the latest, Joy?
Thank you, Victoria, and welcome to Business News. Now, the Nigerian Senate has charged its joint committees on capital market, banking and insurance, security and other financial institutions, anti-corruption and financial crimes to conduct comprehensive investigative hearing, including public hearing on the operations of Ponzi schemes in Nigeria. The upper chamber further taxed the committees on the need to educate Nigerian public, especially the investing public, among others, on the matter and report back in 4 weeks. This directive followed the debate on the investigative hearing into the operations of the Ponzi schemes in Nigeria, with particular reference to the recent crypto bullion exchange CBEX incident, led by Senator representing Lagos East Abiru Adetokunbo. On his part, the Senate President Godswill Akpabio decried the effects of the fraudulent Ponzi schemes on not only the people, but the economy of the country, emphasizing that the investigative public hearing was apt and necessary.
Deeply concerned about the rapid proliferation and alarming rise of unregulated and fraudulent investment schemes, commonly known as Ponzi or pyramid schemes, such as MMM Nigeria in 2016, MBA Forex in 2020, to mention a few, which have repeatedly defrauded millions of Nigerians, causing severe financial hardship and in some cases, driving victims to depression, family breakdowns, and even suicide. Note in particular the recent case of crypto bullion exchange, CBEX, a digital investment platform which lured millions of Nigerians with the promise of outrageous returns before suddenly collapsing and resulting in investors losing over 1.3 trillion and making it one of the most devastating financial scams in the country's history.
Ponzi, or whatever this is called, is just one out of the numerous online payments that we have. Many of our Gen Z of this world no longer go to the banks. They patronize all these online payment system. A lot of them. Ponzi is just one out of the numerous online payments, and hiding under the language, the fintech, that you go through the fintech, that you pay through the fintech and you make this a pause. They call it pause. You just drop money there, the following morning you get the money somewhere else. And they have taken advantage of us as a nation because the regulation is not there.
The joint committees on capital markets, banking, insurance, and security and other financial institutions, anti-corruption and financial crimes, ICT by security, to conduct a comprehensive investigative hearing, including public hearings. Like I said, you don't have to do it in one location, on the operations of Ponzi schemes in Nigeria, educating the Nigerian public, educating the investing public, and then to report back to this Senate in 4 weeks. Those in support of the prayer as amended say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
We'll now take a short break and return with updates from the stock markets. Welcome back. Now, the Nigerian exchange entered the third trading day of the week, trading up on a strong note, inching up by 0.28% as investor sentiment picked up midweek. Now, market momentum was led by Nigerian Enamelware, with 10% share price appreciation, closing at 20 naira 35 kobo per share, followed by Red Star Express. Now, when you compare this with the previous NGX trading day, which was Tuesday, July 8, today's data shows a 12% decline in volume, a 12% decline in turnover, and a 2% decline in deals, in spite of the green trade. Now, by the closing bell, a total of 888 million shares in 24,303 deals, corresponding to a market value of about 15 billion naira, were traded. Globally, however, it was a sea of greens. Major stock indexes rose on Wednesday as Nvidia climbed to a $4 trillion valuation, with the European Union saying it could reach a trade agreement outlined with the United States in the coming days. And in the forex markets, the naira traded at 1,570 naira to the US dollar, 2,170 naira to the British pound, and 1,810 naira to the euro, holding its ground despite broader macroeconomic pressures. That's all business and stock market updates. Victoria, over to you for the rest of the news.
Thank you very much, Joy, for that update. Now, on the global scene, Kenyan President William Ruto warned on Wednesday against attempts to overthrow the government through unconstitutional means and ordered the police to shoot violent protesters in the leg days after 31 people were killed in nationwide anti-government demonstrations. These are his toughest remarks yet as the East African nation faces a wave of violent protest over economic stagnation, corruption, and police brutality. Ruto, who was elected in 2022, also said violent protesters should be shot in the leg, be taken to the hospital, and taken to court. The demonstrations began in June last year as a youth-led anti-taxation protest, which subsequently forced the government into withdraw the contested finance bill. Now, Greece will halt for 3 months all asylum hearings for migrants arriving on boats from North Africa, the Prime Minister said on Wednesday amid an uptick in migrants from Libya. Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis also told Parliament that the legislation would put to a vote in the chamber on Thursday and that Athens was keeping the EU informed on the issue. The move came as over 2,000 migrants have landed on Crete, one of Greece's top travel destinations, and Mitsotakis' homeland in recent days, sparking anger among local authorities and tourism operators. According to the Coast Guard, another group of some 520 people was rescued near Crete early Wednesday and will be rerouted to Athens port of Lavrio. Finally, on sports, African Games gold medalist and former African champion Patience Okon-George is confirmed to compete in the women's 400-meter at the highly anticipated AFN Dynamic Athletics meet. Fresh from outstanding performance at the National Sports Festival in May, where she blazed a new festival record of 51.64 seconds, the veteran quarter-miler would be looking to build on the momentum and thrill fans once again. The AFN Dynamic Athletics meet offers yet another chance to witness one of Nigeria's finest 400-meter runners in her element. Still on sports, a Spanish court on Wednesday sentenced former Real Madrid manager Carlo Ancelotti to a year in jail for tax fraud committed in 2014, a punishment that would not oblige the Brazil coach to serve prison time. Prosecutors alleged the Italian created a system of shell companies to hide extra earnings during his first spell as Real Madrid manager in 2014 and 2015, notably through image rights. A Madrid court announced in a ruling it had convicted Ancelotti for an offense against the treasury to a punishment of 1 year in prison and a fine of 386,361 euros. But the former Chelsea and Bayern Munich boss, who no longer lives in Spain, will not serve jail term because the sentence is less than 2 years and he has no criminal record. And that wraps up our bulletin on News Now. Many thanks for joining us. See you next time.